If you would have asked me at the beginning of the season, when I looked over the schedule, I would have thought for sure that we would have started the season 0-2. Starting off with the Baltimore Ravens week 1. I mean, Lamar Jackson, as much as I hate that guy, is really athletic when it comes to running the ball. Now, I've been an advocate to the fact that I think that he's a one-trick pony. I don't think he can really throw the ball that well, but he's proven me wrong in several different occasions along this season. But we pulled out the dub. And we moved on to week 2 against the Cincinnati Bengals, which I think is probably one of our biggest rivals, even over the Raiders anymore, because it's been such a battle the last 3 or 4 years, right up to the AFC game that we lost for them to go to the Super Bowl, and then the following year in that frigid fucking cold game that me and the rocker chick were at, where we beat them to go to the Super Bowl. There's just been so much tit for tat with the Bengals over the years. But once again, we walked away with the dub. And then you look at the season. For starters, you look at the Raiders, you looked at the Broncos, and you were like, yeah, no big whoop. And with the Raiders, I mean, they just can't seem to get their shit together. But the Broncos, man, the Broncos are definitely taking a run at it. And Bo Nix is somebody I think that we definitely need to keep an eye on. I think if he's playing this good his rookie year, I think that in the next couple seasons, we're going to have our fucking hands full with the Broncos. I just think he just seems real smart. He handles the ball well. I I think they might have lost this last weekend. I'm not 100, but yes, they did. They lost to the Chargers. The Chargers, I remember that because I went to bed and I woke up and I was like, the fucking Chargers come back and won that game. It was Thursday night, I do believe, but and following through the season, some of the teams that we had to play against, you were like, man, this is going to be a rough one. And the couple that we thought, like Cleveland and Carolina, as we got farther into the season, we're like, oh, these should be cakewalks, and they've just been a lot rougher along the way than us Chiefs fans had anticipated. But we get into this Houston game, C.J. Stroud, and this is one that I marked on my calendar early on because I did hold on to my tickets a little bit longer because I wanted to go see C.J. Stroud in Arrowhead. Unfortunately, this game being on December 21st, a little too close to Christmas to be heading back out, especially, when you spend all that money on Christmas, I just didn't have the extra to get out there. And it is what it is. But who would have thought, we're 16 weeks into the season. We got 2 more weeks to go. And the Kansas City Chiefs are sitting at 14-1. The only loss coming to Buffalo, and Buffalo is a very, very good team. And when they play the Chiefs, they are hungry for that win. And it proved it when they played them early in the season, which I do believe was one of those games we earmarked as possibly a loss. When we look at the schedule at the beginning of the year. But I really thought that I really wondered going into this the way Houston kind of been playing, whether or not it would be a manhandle job, whether we would just handle them because they once you shut down Nico Collins, I mean there wasn't much to go on. But they found a way. They were hitting Tank Dell like he was the premier receiver that he looked like he could be. And we're going to talk about Tank Dell here in a little bit, but 14-1. We are 8-0 in Arrowhead this season. Last season that didn't happen. The season before that did not happen. I believe that last season they were 0-1 coming out to the Detroit Lions. It's just been a nail biter of a year, and we are one game away from locking down the number 1 seed for the playoffs. It's going to be interesting to see what we do coming up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Do I think they can beat them? Oh, hell yeah, I think they can beat them. I think they can beat them hands down. I think they can beat them by at least 10. Why? Not because I think the quarterbacks are slack, but they just are not hitting on all cylinders at this point in the season, which, this point in the season, it's like you need that momentum going into the playoffs. And I think I think we've hit our stride here these last couple of weeks. And Kansas City looks like a team ready to go into the playoffs. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Indiana Chiefs Fans Podcast. I am your host. I am Golden Jay. The Chief is out tonight. We want to wish his wife, Karen, a speedy recovery. If you didn't know, she had heart attack symptoms late last week. They got her into the emergency room. And she had some surgery to get some stuff taken care of, cleaned it up. Of course, she's doing a lot better. She is home, but the Chief himself is pretty wiped out. So he's taking the night off. So you get me, you get Golden Jay, and we're gonna run through this game. Are you guys ready? Let's start off with some of the big stuff, but just a couple of things right at the top. Patrick Mahomes went 28 for 41 for 260 yards. Kareem Hunt was pretty much the leading ball carrier with 11 carries for 55 yards. Pacheco comes in at 9 for 26, so they're trying to balance those two guys out. I thought they did a really good job kind of mixing it up this time around. They did not go for it on the third and short. They with the long pass. They kind of did the runs, and they let these running backs do what they do. Kareem Hunt coming up big in a lot of those. Xavier Worthy had a relatively good day. He was targeted 11 times, but he only took in 7 of those for 65 yards. Samante Pirine went 3 for 50. Hollywood Brown, ladies and gentlemen, Hollywood is back. He's back in the lineup. He had 8 targets, went 5 for 45. D-Hop had 4 targets, went 4 for 37. And, of course, the explosive Travis Kelce had 5 receptions for 30 yards. So just a couple of what was going on there. One quick highlight, we did have 2 sacks, one by Purnell and one by Joshua Williams. So that Williams one was brutal. And I like this. Nico Romero, on kick returns, he had 5 of them for 129 yards. It's a hell of a day for him. Punt returns, he only had 1 for 9 yards. But Butker, of course, at full swing. 2 field goals, 2 for 2. And he was back to doing kickoff duties. So that was really cool to see him back there. I enjoyed Justin Reed doing it, but man, that is Butker's bread and butter, dropping it right where he wants to do it. So, all right, let's get into this game. December 21st, 2024, it was the Texans traveling to Arrowhead Stadium. It was a 1:00 game on NBC, and let me tell you, the temperature might have looked a little chilly, but it looked gorgeous out there. The sun was shining, and it was a good day for Chiefs football. Chiefs win the coin toss. They defer the opening drive for the Texans in with an interception to Hicks, number 21. Patrick Mahomes with a start right out of the gate to an 8-yard pass to Worthy. So I think when I did a pick on the Chiefs Kingdom Challenge, I think, I picked a run, but they come right out of the gate throwing. Hopkins with a catch for 7 and another to D-Hop, first down. Hollywood Brown's first catch on a crossing route on 4th and 2. Welcome back, number 5. It was good to see him out there. Everybody's been really excited about him being there, and he honestly he didn't disappoint. He looked really well. He looked really good. So as they progress through the next couple weeks, I think he's going to get a lot more time out there to kind of get kind of knock the rust off a little bit because he's been out the entire season. And of course, the drive ends with Patrick Mahomes running a 15-yard touchdown run, smack dab up the middle. Listen, if you were wondering about his ankle, when you watched him run through that, you fucking knew that there was nothing wrong. He looked and acted perfectly fine. So all the concerns there, at least for this game, nothing was needed for that because he looked really good. Extra point by Butker gets a 7-0 Kansas City lead. Texans with three big yard plays into the red zone just right away. Boom, boom, boom. But the drive stalls in the red zone. They had a field goal, giving the score 7-3. Kansas City still on top. 3 now for the Chiefs with Mahomes getting sacked in one of those 3. That was the end of the first quarter. But Texas had the ball back and were driving at that point. A couple of big behind the stick plays for Kansas City. The Texans kept running this I don't know what they have a specific name for it, but it's they have a wide receiver out to the left or right. It's kind of just a straight over shot, and Kansas City picked up on that really, really quick. It's like they were anticipating that the Texans were going to do this all day long, and believe me, they did not have any luck with it as we dropped them for at least 4 or 5 of those throughout the day. But yeah, so we had Texans at a 3rd and 13, but they give up a big pass to Tank Dell for 16. The Chiefs secondary still worries me. Not quite as bad if you actually look at the numbers, but man, while you're watching it, it's painful a little bit. So Texans score a touchdown, giving them the 7-10 lead. Yeah, that's right. I don't know if I did that backwards. I don't really know, but I don't care. The Chiefs had 7, the Texans had 10. They were on top by 3. I don't care what anyone says. Swartz pushed off a McDuffie in that touchdown pass. It was blatant. It was right there. And they didn't call it. I don't know what the deal is there, but it was painful. It was painful to watch. Let's see. Then we get as the Chiefs are driving in the next drive is when this crazy ass play. Okay, so listen. The Texans thought it was a fumble. Patrick Mahomes goes back. He's in the pocket. They hit his arm. The ball comes out. But when you go back and watch the replay, and I thought I seen this when the play happened, but he was actually coming forward, and when his arm got hit, now the controversy behind that somewhere falls whether or not he had control of that ball when his arm started going forward, but it was ruled an incomplete pass, and the Texans got called for hitting Mahomes on the helmet. Now, I've seen a lot of bullshit on the internet about that. A lot of people upset about that call, but I'm going to tell you, it turned. I'm glad that the referees actually took a minute to talk it over, and it did. It was the right call. I mean, his arm was coming forward when the ball came out. Whether or not he had a grip on that ball or not, it's the Brady rule. Brady made that famous to be able to get that call made. And then they smoked Mahomes in the middle. There was 2 defenders coming in, and sure as shit, an arm right across his helmet. That's a no-no. You guys can't do that. And so instead of being a fumble recovered by the Texans and run back for a touchdown, it became an incomplete pass with roughing the passer penalty, adding 15 yards. As the drive progressed, a big catch for Kelsey on a 3rd and long. And there you go. The over-under at about 6 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, It took 6 minutes to go in the second quarter for them to flash up to the booth. Yes, Taylor Swift was in the house. She was there rooting him on. And I got to admit, man, that box looked a little empty considering that usually when they flash over to her, the box is completely full. It was just her and a couple people sitting in there, and she was watching the game. But yeah, if you had the over under on 6 minutes to go in the second quarter, give yourself a lollipop, because there you go. At 4:38, it is a touchdown, Kansas City. It was a 5-yard run for Kareem Hunt to get in there, which makes it now 14-10, Kansas City back on top. All right, 2-minute warning. Here we go. As we finish up, the Texans are still driving. A lot of dinks and dunks for them. And, I'm all about it, to be honest. I think that's the best way to drive down the field. I'm a big advocate of 5 yards at a time. You don't need 50, you need 5. Every time you touch the ball, every down, if you get 5 yards, you're going to just drive down the field. So that's what they did. It's just getting the job done. Secondary keeps getting beat on some of these simple throws. 50 seconds to go. It's a 3-20, and Trent McDuffie comes up with his second career interception. That's 2 in 2 games, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, hell yeah, Trent, way to go. And it was funny because a lot of the talk in the post-game show talked about when it rains, it pours. It's like the floodgates have opened, and now you're just going to see McDuffie just hauling in interceptions all day long. So I'm good with that. P. Ryan had a big gain of 36. Now, remember, we still had 50 seconds left on the clock. I'm sure we had at least 2 timeouts. Big gain for P. Ryan of 36 yards, but Mahomes got sacked again. There is a flag for defensive holding. He gives it a 1st and 10 on the 25. Drive stalls for KC at that point, but Bucker knocks one in for 44 yards with 19 seconds to go, giving us the score 17-10, Kansas City. End of the quarter sees Texas going for a Hail Mary incomplete. That's the end of the half, 17-10. Whew, what a first half. As we start the third quarter, Kansas City, since they deferred, they start with the ball. 2 runs to start. 3 and 8. First down. The Chiefs ended up punting, though. I mean, it's good to see him run the ball right out of the gate. I like that. But Texas turns around and start driving down the field. Tank Dell is just the workload as he's hauling this thing. Everything's going to him. It's like the Chiefs didn't know how to handle him. He would take up crossing routes in the middle, some post routes, just boom, boom, boom. They were just, nobody seemed to be able to stick with him. He did get the touchdown on that drive, but sorry about that. Like I told you, we were going to talk about him here in a minute. As he was coming down, he put both feet on the ground. 2 Chiefs defenders and an offensive wide receiver for the Texans were all there. And let me tell you, it was not pretty. There are some snaps out there if you guys want to go digging for them. There is replays of the video, and he pretty much just broke his leg right in half. I don't know right now what the extent is. I know that there was a lot of downtime. They spent a lot of time securing his leg, and it's a blow-up cast, from what I understood, that went from his ankle all the way up to his hip. And they didn't even mess with the little cart they brought out, the big Kansas City Fire Department EMS cart, the big one. Got him on the stretcher and then got him into the cart. And I heard that they took him directly to the KC Medical Center, and that I believe it was emergency surgery at that point. Hopefully, listen, we're advocates here at Indiana Chiefs Fans Podcast. We love the game. We love the players. We do not want to see anybody get hurt. And I know that he was schooling us, schooling that KC secondary, um, and I don't know how to say this. It sucks that it ended that way, because I do believe that kind of shifted the entire game at that point. The Texans were very, very emotional. CJ Stroud, very, very emotional right there on camera, if you were watching. And rightfully so. I mean, that's their teammate, their brother. You don't want to see anybody get hurt. And I hope that he can come back from this. I hope this is something that, there's no doubt his season right now is done. I mean, we're late in the season anyway, but I hope that he can get this thing worked out over the off season, and he can come back and be as good as he was prior in those first 2 quarters, because he looked amazing. It was a good combo between him and Collins, and it just kind of sucked that that's how that ended. But after that long delay, though, they did kick the extra point. It is now 17-16. Kansas City still in the lead. KC going for it on a 4th down and short. Turned it over on downs at the 50, but 3 and out for the Texans, and they punt. KC, I don't even know what that says. KC round for Worthy, nice 19-yard gain. 15-yard run for 9. Mahomes' feet, man. He gets it done. So he ran for 9. He had a slide, but it's after the where he was. It was after that. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm reading, like I said, guys. I'm reading my notes here. But it was after that play he stood up, because one of the Texans was right there, and it was just funny because they were just yucking it up. You can tell they're out there having fun. I don't know what Mahomes said to him, like, "Hey, thanks for not fucking, you run, just for letting up when you knew I was going to slide. Thanks for letting up." I don't know, but they were yucking up. It was good to see. It was good to see that, the camaraderie. I mean, we always talk about it, or everybody always talks about Mahomes always giving props to those defensive guys when they sack him or hit him or push him. Maybe not Max Crosby. I mean, they're always friends after the game, but during the game, they will yell and scream at each other. But it was just really cool to see, Mahomes get up and, make a comment to that defender, and the defender make a comment back, and they're just laughing it up, having a good time. So, as the quarter continues, a couple of good runs by Hunt, but the commentator throughout that little section of this kept calling him Hunter, which just drove me fucking nuts. I mean, maybe it was just me. I don't know, but I could have swore he called him Hunter like 4 or 5 times, and I was like, "Listen here, ass. It's just Hunt. It's just Kareem Hunt. Don't call him Hunter." I don't know. 2:42 to go. Touchdown, Kansas City. Mahomes to Xavier Worthy for a 7-yard. It was just a 7-yard pass. It wasn't anything major, but it was a beautiful pass. And the rocker chick was thrilled. She wasn't with me. She was doing some other things, but she was thrilled because she just got her Xavier Worthy jersey on Friday. So she was supporting it while she was out doing her shopping on Saturday. And yeah, she was ecstatic that that Worthy got into the end zone while she was wearing her jersey. So there you go. Also, she's also pretty thrilled that she's realized that he was a Texas Longhorn. You know what I'm saying? We've been watching a lot of the Longhorns this year, because of Arch Manning and the fact that they're good. So, but it was really cool to put those two together. That's where he came from. Now, 23-16, Kansas City, still in the lead. All right. Well, I think I meant to write third quarter. I wrote fourth quarter. End of third quarter as the Texas driving again, working off a below 3-15. I don't even know what the hell that meant for KC. I don't know. Let's get into the fourth quarter. When the pressure is on Stroud, oh man, I tell you what, he has come out of the pocket and it seems to be unstoppable when he gets out of that pocket because he's got that Mahomes kind of swagger when he gets out there. He's looking down the field, looking down his field. Um, he just rolls out and it just he finds his guy and he's making incredible throws and his guys are making incredible catches. Of course, and as I was writing that, he rolls out for a loss out of bounds. They considered that a sack. Um, the second delay of the game for the Texans come up next. Man, they seem to have a hard time managing the clock. I'm really not sure what that was all about, but it seems like they were breaking the huddle late a lot and just getting it off, or in a couple cases they were missing it by a good 2-3 seconds. The clock was at 0 before they hiked the ball. Good block on a pass for 56 after that. Listen, man, George Karlaftis is a fucking beast, period. He just flies all over that field. He had Shroud. That's why Shroud was getting out of the pocket, is because Karlaftis was chasing him the whole entire time. He was getting in the backfield, wreaking havoc, and it was just a beautiful thing. But the drive stalled for the Texans, and they settled for a field goal with 11:51 left to go in the fourth, making it 23-19. Chiefs still on top. The Chiefs drive. Hunt is running some hard yards. I mean, he always runs those hard yards. Also, a couple big catches for 87 in there. Listen, just as a personal thing, after watching all these last few years of the Mahomes Kelsey hookup, I guess something's just not quite right there. I mean, that's just my opinion. It just doesn't feel right. They don't look like they have the camaraderie on the field that they've had in the past. Pat is overthrowing a lot of his receivers this year. It seems like just some fingertip passes that I don't know whether he's expecting them to go a little bit farther downfield or if they slowed up too much. I'm not 100% sure what's going on, but yeah, it just seems like we're still just not quite to that click spot yet. Also a big catch for D Hop in that drive. 5:22 left to go, though. They settle for a field goal by Butker, giving the score 27-19 Kansas City. And the Texans turn around and go 3-and-out. Williams on an outside blitz gets the sack on the Texans, and that at 3:45 to go. And let me tell you, that sack was fucking brutal. It was unbelievable. That was at 3:45. Kansas City's got the ball back after the punt, and 16-yard pitch and catch to P. Ryan, first down, gives us a 2-minute warning. Hunt with a big final first down. I mean, he blew the hole wide open, and he took off. Slides down at the 12 because by now the Texans have burnt through their timeouts. There's nothing left. So they can't stop the clock. We're under 2 minutes. But it's really cool to see Hunt have that just situational football in his mind, running down the field. He's not trying to pad his stats with an extra touchdown. He had it. It was there. I mean, he had a wide open space. He could have just plopped it in and called it a day. No, he knows that we've got the lead. We don't want to mess it up. We're up 27-19. And all we have to do now is just kneel out the rest of the game. So instead of going and padding the stats, getting the extra touchdown, which, I'm sure Vegas fucking people were all a flutter about if anybody had so many touchdowns by Hunt. But he slides it down to 12, and the Chiefs just kneel it out because it's over. It does turn this into the 16 straight one-score win for Kansas City. It also puts it undefeated in Arrowhead this season at 8-0. The Chiefs win 27-19. making them 14-1 as we go into the holiday season. Oh yeah, holiday season. It's Christmas time, ladies and gentlemen. And when this comes out, this game will already be over because as I record this on Monday, the next Chiefs game is on Wednesday, Christmas Day, as we travel out to Pittsburgh to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Tomlin, Russell Wilson. I don't think it's going to be easy, but I think we ought to handle ourselves pretty good. And if we can bring home the dub, then we are locked for the first round bye, which means we'll host. Basically the road to Super Bowl goes through Kansas City at that point. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I would imagine that all the big dogs are playing. I know there is some concern about Chris Jones. He did go down in this game. I don't know if he came back. I did not see him, but I wasn't looking for him. So if he came back, I missed it. But I know he was on the bench. I saw at one point. Looked like he was in good spirits, having a good time. So hopefully Chris will be there for the Pittsburgh game. Because what that does is that every time he goes out and stands up around the field, he's getting double and triple teamed, which now leaves open Karlaftis and Dana and all those guys. Gives them a chance to get in there and kind of wreak havoc in the backfield on the quarterback. So, Chris ain't no slouch either, double teamed or not. He's getting in there and causing his own little havoc everywhere. So you got to love it when Chris is playing. I mean, do I think that was a lot of money we paid him to come back? I do. Do I think that he might have not taken so much so we could keep Snead? I do. But all in all, it's money well spent when it comes to him. I think he's an amazing player. He's an amazing leader. And I think we're happy to have him on our team. Listen, guys, I'm sorry about all the coughing in this episode. Please forgive me. On that note, I'm going to get out of here. I want to thank everybody for checking out the Indiana Chiefs Fan Podcast. Would love to hear your guys' scenarios and what you think going forward. Indiana Chiefs Fans Podcast at gmail.com. We're always open for emails, so send them on in. And don't forget to check out the Gridiron Kings and the Puck Yeah podcast, all part of the Seasons in Hell Sports Network, right here on Golden Mojo Entertainment. Puck Yeah podcast, Lance is doing a wonderful job. If you love hockey, go check it out. And of course, Rob and the Duke doing the Gridiron Kings, always bringing on some great information. And, those guys love football. So go check them out as part of the Seasons in Hell Network. And that's going to get me out of here, guys. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next week. Actually, I'm not sure when I'm going to record the next episode, probably after the Sunday game sometime. But, I'll be a few days removed from that game with it being on Wednesday, so I might try to jump in early and get it recorded so I don't forget everything that happened on Christmas Day. But this being coming out on Thursday, day after Christmas, I hope you guys all had a Merry Christmas. And as we prep up for the new year, we all want a safe and happy new year. So you guys be careful out there as you celebrate 2025 coming in. I know I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to what Golden Mojo Entertainment will bring next. Got some plans. We just need to get everything solid down. So yeah, until then, guys, I'll see you next week. And I just want to say, from our little slice of Chiefs Kingdom right here in the great state of Indiana, I just got one question for you. How about those Chiefs? Later.
Thank you for listening to the Indiana Chiefs Fans Podcast. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts, whether that be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Podbean, any of your favorite podcast sites. Be sure to watch us on YouTube. Just search for the Indiana Chiefs Fans Podcast. Also, check us out on Facebook for any updates on the Chiefs and all of our weekly posts. You can find us at facebook.com/INChiefsFansPod. Finally, go check out our Golden Mojo Entertainment website at goldenmojoent.com. You can find information about your 3 favorite hosts and all the other podcasts in the Golden Mojo Entertainment family. Those podcasts include The Call Guys, Golden Image Podcast, The United States of Paranormal, The Golden 80s Podcast, The Murdnerds, and A Court of Books and Booze. Thank you for tuning in, and how about those Chiefs?